Now, the best way to play Gran Turismo 7 in PSVR2 really is with no HUD. That gives you the experience that you can see here that is super immersive and super realistic. There's no data or things floating around that remind me that I'm in a game. I can just get in the world of Fuji here in Japan in my brand new Super Formula car and be completely immersed. But the reality is, if you want to race sort of competitively, whether that's in the single player, whether online, you do really need a HUD to help you do that. And I'm going to show you in this video the massive shortcomings in the Gran Turismo 7 HUD and what they need to improve. So firstly, I'll talk about the good things. You can see the HUD here floating. The way they've implemented the HUD is actually quite nice. Because it's floating, you don't need to constantly refocus your eyes to be very much close in front of you. You can kind of maintain focus on the horizon point and then gently move on over. You might see with the foveated rendering. You also get a lot of useful information that they've taken from the regular HUD. I get the big track map here, the radar, I get the weather, then the delta timings, then the TC, and I would also get fuel and brake bias if those were on in these settings. And you can see at the top I get the weather indicator, I get the tyres and the damage indicator, and I get the fuel. But I am missing a huge amount of things here that they really need to implement in some way, and I'm going to give you some ideas in this video about how they can do that. They need to implement the standings. 100% when you're in a race, you need to see how many seconds am I behind the leader, if you're behind the leader. You need to see how many seconds to the car ahead and the car behind, and you need to see the fastest lap so you can reference your laps against the fastest lap. I cannot believe that is not incorporated in the HUD in any way, shape or form. It's pretty crazy. You also hear, by the way, you do get the overtake when you have a car with overtake. It's not showing them in, but I do want to make clear that you do get the overtake. Now the thing is, the best way to actually drive in Gran Turismo 7 PSVR 2 is with no HUD. This is by far the most immersed. Look at this. You can get, here I'm at Fuji in my Super Formula car, you can get completely immersed and lost in this, and you really feel like you're driving in the real thing. You get the phantom heat on your arms from the sun, which I think is a good sign that your brain is fully immersed. But here it's basically impossible to drive. I've got videos on this channel called the reality mod videos, which I'll link at the end, where we have to work as a community to actually get the information and work out where we are position-wise and timings and laps. You do get stuff on your wheels in different cars, but you don't get enough. So here I will get the lap, I will get the time, and I will probably get my difference to best lap, but I won't get the standings here. I won't get the overtake button use. If I'm in a hybrid car, how much battery I have left. So you cannot really use this competitively. And this, by the way, is where you don't see competitive drivers using PSVR 2. Are you surprised that although a lot of people say PSVR 2 is faster, you don't see the top drivers in the world using it? Well, this is really the reason why. So what should they do? They need to bring a way to bring the standings in. Now, what I would do in a Super Formula car like this with the halo is I would have the standings running along the top of this halo sort of superimposed. So you could have a ticker tape like you have in NASCAR. You could have it also, and this is the thing to use that would work universally across every car. Every wheel. Now this is a difficult thing because they want to be as accurate as possible, but I feel like every wheel should have some of that basic information. Like this car has an overtake button, it's limited use. I feel like I need to see how much overtake I have left on the wheel. I feel like I should be able to see my position on the wheel. I should be able to cycle through and see differences to the cars ahead and behind. The fact we don't have that is a little bit crazy. The HUD itself is also a little bit difficult to read. They've done a really good job, I think, of having it there in that place, so you can focus on sort of the middle distance and back again. But I feel like there should be a button you can use that just sort of snaps the HUD in front of you. So it's there and it snaps in front. So if I want to see the radar, I can just snap it in front and have it there. I think that would be a relatively easy thing to do. I want to hear from you, by the way, in the comments. Let me know how you would improve the PSVR 2 HUD. Because all you PSVR 2 connoisseurs, I know that you are really frustrated with this HUD. And the HUD is probably the main reason why a lot of people aren't using PSVR 2 in online competitive racing. I think that would be a good thing. There's other things they could do in PSVR 2 to make the game sort of a bit more immersive in that way. It'd be great if the head tracking mapped onto other drivers around you. That would be absolutely insane. You would be able to, it would be like karting, I can tell you for free, that you'd see the driver ahead sort of stressing out, looking at the mirrors as you go side by side. I guarantee into turn one here, you'd have these moments where you look side by side at each other like that, and it would just be one of the purest, most incredible moments in gaming, if they could somehow add that in. Maybe they will do that. PSVR2 is such sort of a low-key update in Gran Turismo 7. I feel like they've shouted more about the cars that they add in every update about VR. There isn't even like a dedicated VR place in the home map, the home menu like location thing. It's like they didn't really want to acknowledge it. You don't even know that you're in VR mode. It just automatically detects it and you go in. But it's a very, very, very low-key way of implementing it. And maybe that extends to the HUD. The other thing I want to say that not a lot of people talk about, but it's quite a big thing for me, is the rev bar. Yes, I have the rev indicators here. You can see if I go down the gears. But it's not as detailed or as uniform as the rev bar you get in the normal HUD. And that is very, very, very critical when you're in competitive races and you need to shift at exactly the right time. Gran Turismo 7 is at its core, really, I think, is actually a time trial game. And it's about these tiny, 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 tiny moments when you're shifting gear. And just every car has a different indicator that, again, is accurate, but unfortunately doesn't give you that realism. So let me know what you think about that. If you've got any other improvements, I would love to know. I'm now going to race this car at Daily Race B online. So we'll see how that goes. Check out that video as well. But unfortunately, that's the end of this one, and I'll see you all. I'll see you next time.